Hey Queens, my name is Mason Goodman. I live in Omaha, Nebraska, and this is my family's 2001 Volvo V70. So a little bit of background on this car. We were deliberately looking for a manual Volvo for my father about 2.5 years ago. My sister was starting to learn to drive or about to get her license, and we wanted to keep things Volvo, but my dad did miss daily driving a manual. So we found this on Portland, Maine Craigslist. So we flew out and road tripped it back in a weekend from Maine to Nebraska. It's like 1,500 miles or something like that. Rolled it over to 200,000 miles on the way home. Yeah, we've had her ever since. And this is a 2001 V70, and as you can see, it's the T5 trim, which is the highest performance and highest trim line that was available for the 2001 model year, at least until the R came along in 2003. It is painted in a delightful shade of moondust metallic, or at least was painted in a delightful shade called moondust metallic. But as you can see, the hood, the rear door, and then also on the other side the passenger door have been replaced. It is an extremely hard color to find because the P2s only got it for like 2001. It was a carryover color from the old P80 cars. Outside of that, couple notable features about this car is that it's got genuine Volvo hubcaps on 16-inch steel wheels. We don't know if this was something they ordered or maybe they got a set of winter wheels and hubcaps, and that's just what came on the car. The other notable feature is that it has, as you saw in the beginning of the video, the coveted third row jump seat that no one ordered. The pièce de resistance of our little slice of Swedish heaven is, as you can see down there and up here, it has a manual. So we've had little Miss V70 here for, I think it'll be 3 years this coming November, so about 2.5 years. As you can see down there, she is at 242,701 miles. A little bit higher than that. We were having some intermittent issues with a wheel speed sensor, so we'll just round up and say 250,000 miles. She got driven every day up until recently when my dad got a CPO TDI Passat. But yeah, I mean, she was pretty all right. AC works fine. I just did the blower motor. Glove box sags a little bit like all these P2s do, so it rattles like the rest of the car when you go over a bump. It's got this handy dandy little cup holder here that doesn't spring out like it should, so it doesn't really hold anything, but it's nice to put a phone in. You know, mask to keep us safe. Creaky center console with lots of storage. Decently spacious back seat if you are a normal sized adult as I am, and I'm sitting behind myself here. I've got probably a couple inches of leg room. My dad's 6'5", so you know, can't really sit behind him. Other little fun features, we've got a little trash bag receptacle here, or a like Nalgene holder. There's a little indentation here on the exhaust tunnel that actually fits a Nalgene perfectly. If you put it in here, it doesn't like fly all over the cabin while you're driving. Armrest here with some cup holders that, you know, just fall out because you know they feel like it. As far as the boot goes, which is why you buy the wagon, she's got a pretty decent sized trunk. It's not as big as, you know, some vehicles, because there were some concessions for style or why they shaped the roof like that. Cargo nets here that you can hook into the ceiling, and we've got a cargo cover for when you're not using the third row seat that goes across there and pulls out. Around town, Honestly, even for being a manual, it's really not that bad. Being a turbo inline 5 that spools up decently quickly, you can lug around town, and second gear, third gear on flatter parts, you can get up to fourth and still keep the revs really low. It idles around like 750 RPM, so like you can keep it anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500 and just tool around. I think tires probably have a pretty big impact on road noise, so if you hear some growling, that's probably what it is. These are Riken Raptor, like cheap, high performance all seasons. I threw them on there mainly because my dad was using this as a commuter, and the Mastercraft scared me more than a Michelin sub-brand did, and they were dry rotting, so, you know, just threw them on there. They handle fine for not being the widest tire you could get on this platform. When we kind of relegate this to more fun driving, we'll probably throw some 17s on it that get a 235 width tire. Interior rattles over every bump. They ride pretty stiff. Ride control is fine. It doesn't wallow too bad, even though it's got a pretty high sidewall. That's probably, again, due to the tires. It's decently quick. It'll get close to 30, if not hit 30 on the highway at like 70. So, you know, it's not too bad. I'm gonna head out here to my one of my favorite roads to drive around here, which surprisingly has hills. I know, Nebraska hills. Who's she? And while you can't really hear it in the exhaust or in the engine bay, you do get a little bit of that 5-cylinder growl when you ring it out. So that's definitely a nice little bonus once you get above 3,500 RPM. Thanks for joining me on my kind of haphazard review on our 2001 Volvo V70. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe the page, and I'll see y'all later.